Hey, I'm back fresh out of YouTube jail. I can post again. Well, I found out something about YouTube. Once you get a strike, your time doesn't start until you acknowledge that you have a strike. I don't know what I was thinking. 3 to 4 days after posting a video, I usually don't check my channel until I'm about to post another video. So when I post a new video, I found out that I had a strike a week before. So in other words, if I checked my channel sooner, my jail time would have been done before I finished this video, and this would have been posted a week ago. It's a coincidence that this video is about coincidence, where coincidentally I show you what you should do by example. To fully understand what I mean, you may have to come back to this part after you finish watching this video. If you're a Bitchute subscriber, then that doesn't apply to you since it's already been posted there on time. The first sign is an incident. Second is a coincidence. My first sign is always a coincidence. My first coincidence was a strike for medical misinformation. The coincidence is that I got another strike in the same month for the same reason from a video that was posted months ago, within 2 weeks of each other. Patreon Dark members, if you're watching this, this is what I was talking about, that things repeat for me within 2 weeks. This is what I was talking about. Something serious is going on and it's bugging me out. I'm gonna make a video about repeats in 2 weeks, but it's not time yet. It's gonna trip you out, I promise. YouTube is definitely trying to send me a message. They digging in the archives now. So I figured, of course, that is a sign, but what's the message? It took me a couple of days, but I figured it out. I know exactly what I need to do. Watch for the changes, then you'll start to understand why you should pay attention to coincidences. Enjoy the video. If I told you that you can accurately predict future realities, would you believe me? You do it all the time and don't even realize it. Let me ask you a question. Take a few seconds to picture what you believe is a perfect world. Can you see it becoming a reality in your lifetime? Whatever answer you gave, you just predicted a future reality based on the things you already know, and you have a time frame. The only problem is most people are unable to read the signs in their simulation given by the universe in the form of glitches we call coincidences. Some of you may ask, what does coincidence have to do with us living in a simulation? Coincidences are glitches in the simulation getting you to focus on the message, either by showing you something is off in your simulation, or showing that you made the correct decision, or protecting you from immediate unforeseen danger, or warning you of an undesirable reality that is possibly taking place and needs to be addressed soon to be averted, giving you the chance to make early decisions to keep your simulation stabilized, or a reality will be chosen for you by the universe, influenced by the thoughts of other simulations that affect yours and others, to keep all simulations in sync with each other. In order for anything to become a reality, you have to first create it with a thought. You create your reality with your thoughts, and then start programming your thoughts into your simulation, motivated either by fear or reward. Predictable, especially when you recognize the signs that would affect the whole. Some of you may have to watch this video twice. Here's a good example. James Fayad, if I'm saying it right, accused of having his wife murdered during an expensive divorce battle. This story was also on one of those crime shows. It was interesting. James Fayad made his fortune coincidentally by buying up gold a little bit at a time before the 2008 market crash while it was cheap, and trading it at competitive low trading fees when gold skyrocketed because he bypassed trading fee laws or making unlicensed money transactions. His wife caught wind of the potential problem they were in, and according to the show, tried to get her husband to correct the situation by admitting fault to the feds. But he got too greedy and didn't want to give up the lifestyle, which led to trouble in the marriage, which led to divorce, then led to murder. Here's where coincidence comes in. Pamela Fayad was very terrified of knives. She didn't allow knives in the house because of her constant fear of being stabbed to death, and confided with her husband of her fears. James had so much hatred towards his wife at the end that he specifically requested the killing to be done with a knife out of spite, according to the killer. The question now is, did Pamela die in a past life by a knife which fueled her fear in this life? Was it premonition that she predicted her own death? Or did she create her own reality because she kept feeding it with thoughts of fear, which by coincidence the universe answered by causing her to cross paths with a future husband to help her simulation to become a worse reality that she created and continue feeding in the first place? That's a tricky one. I'm going with the last one. By removing the knives from the home, you're confirming to the universe that the reality you created is a real possibility, and you fighting off the same reality you created with a new thought of removing the very objects from your simulation that you created from your original thoughts. She installed 2 unnecessary fear-based programs in her simulation combating each other, almost like an amateur wizard cast a spell on himself by accident and trying to remove it by casting another spell to counter it instead of just undoing the original spell by taking out the fear. He still has 2 spells he has to deal with. Or perhaps a more recent one. You should have heard about the Alec Baldwin situation by now, and it's a sad situation. A person accidentally kills someone on a movie set for a film about a person who accidentally murdered someone that you co-created. Did he also inadvertently create that reality too? You tell me. And how you accidentally murder someone. It said that in 2 articles. That's funny to me. Isn't murder deliberate? How you accidentally murder someone? Even if someone was hit by a stray bullet, it was still deliberate. Funny wordplay. Predicting reality is not psychic if that's what you're thinking. It's your natural sense of foresight they're trying to hide from you. You just have to pay attention to things and changes and connect them with things you already stored in your memory from everything you experienced in life up until now. The problem is that people's senses has become numb, that they limit their ability. Like all skills, it must be practiced to be mastered. Not only the food you eat attacks your body, but they're also filled with mind-dampening chemicals that shut down your foresight so you can't see what's coming. Humanity is under attack. Some of these people you see are not really human, and we keep following their dumbass orders straight to our own extinction. We're not at the peak of human evolution. We're being suppressed by propaganda. People that know what's really going on right now has great foresight. You have to expand your comfort zone and dabble in things that affect the whole, even if it's boring. Listen to what people saying about the stocks. Listen to what people saying about politics. Listen to what they're saying about crypto. Everything, even mainstream news. Learn to double speak. Learn to double speak. The more things ring in your head, the further and more accurate foresight your mind concedes, and it's instant. You do it all the time. Drivers, for example, you see a hazard ahead. You already formulate a reality that you don't want and plan ahead to avoid that simulation. Your boss tells you if you come to work late one more time, you're fired. Instantly, you formulate 2 realities. One where you make it to work on time and continue keeping your job, and the other where you're fired for being late. Your decision creates your reality. Your reality is programmed in your simulation. You understand what I'm saying? But people limit themselves to short-term foresight that they create and program into their simulation because their senses are numb, unaware that they are manipulating realities intentionally and unintentionally. What do I mean? One time I was driving onto the highway onto the entrance ramp and it was one car in front of me. Plenty of room. As we were about to emerge onto the highway, out of nowhere a truck carrying 2 trailers was approaching fast. Me and the driver in front of me had plenty of time to clear that truck because there were no cars in front of us. But the selfish bastard, only thinking about their selfish self, seemed that they had room to make it in front of the speeding truck and didn't care what happens behind. I'm giving them the benefit because people sometimes don't pay attention to the rear and may not know I was behind them, which caused me to drive in the gravel on the soft shoulder to avoid the truck and fucking up my car. That was unintentional manipulation of my reality by the driver that was in front of me. Truck driver point of view. Seeing us in time to slow down, couldn't change lanes because of another car on the side. Decides to try to beat us by speeding up. I'm looking like, this is tight, I'm thinking he's gonna slow down, he's carrying 2 trailers. Asshole kept going, seeing he couldn't beat the car in front of me, so he had to slow down, which caused me to drive in the gravel to let the truck pass or be forced off by the second trailer. That was intentional manipulation of my reality. Instead of slowing down like he should and could, he opted to see how I would handle the new situation he just created for me. People can manipulate your reality, but they can't control your simulation. I was forced to create a reality and program the best outcome into my simulation, which was to create a reality of me driving in the gravel to avoid a worse reality that I also created. I chose the safer program and braced for the shock. The more you're aware of the signs, the more control you have over your simulation. You should never program your simulation with decisions based off manufactured fear, ever. The more you research, the more secure your simulation becomes, and the more crazier you will look to the sleepers. That's just the basics to help you see what's going on the surface. It gets real deep, but your mind has to be prepared for it. I have to warn you, the more research you do, the more complex it becomes. Once you start factoring the coincidences of aliens, clones, psychopathic thinking, books, nature, outside entities, or interdimensional beings, so many things you will never know them all. Then it becomes very complex, but more accurate. Because you're able to see more glitches in your simulation that we created and how we all connected to a series of events of the past that put us where we all stand today and give us a clearer picture of future realities. You start seeing many realities at once. It's coincidence in nature. When your senses are sensitive, you'll notice every little things like why the trees snapping under their own weight. Come to find out, it may be related to the chemtrail dust in the soil. If it's doing that to the trees, an object that can possibly live forever, then what it's doing to us? What's up with the insect migration? Why there's a bunch of changes in insects all the time? What's causing it? Fireflies was back over here over the summer. I haven't seen them in a while. And a lot of them nasty ass flies started showing up. Every time I see a change in insect movement, I always think those people moving a lot of dirt somewhere. I don't know why. Why sometimes the sun and the moon seem out of normal position? The moon seems like it's all over the place the past couple of years. I probably have like 100 questions every day. Funny thing about the universe, a lot of the time it shows you more than what you think you see. Sometimes you see further than you think. I see dozens and dozens of reality every day because it constantly keeps changing by people's decision. But every reality I do see has Bitcoin in it, which is why I keep talking about it. I'm going to see if I can teach you how to see, not predict, see a potential reality with high accuracy. Because once you think it, it exists. Normally it has to be a coincidence to be counted as one, but Bitcoin itself is a coincidence because it has so much mystery surrounding it. First rule, pay attention to the first. If it catches your attention for some reason, and sometimes no reason at all, but it got your attention, it's a coincidence. It's a coincidence that it caught your attention at that time. So pin it in memory and put it to the side. Second rule, and most important, once you see another coincidence that's related to the first coincidence and all you need is one, the reality you have in mind is in motion. Start preparing. Why did it make itself known in your simulation twice? It can even be somebody just talking to you and say something that catches your attention. It's a sign. Start paying attention to anything related to that coincidence. And sometimes it can lead to nothing and the coincidence just suddenly stops. That's because what was trying to get your attention needs was met, either by you or somebody else, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. But if you see a third coincidence and formulate a reality, how far into the future can you see that being part of your simulation? Hours, days, weeks, years? If you can see it, then it exists. Any more coincidences after that only adding more energy to the reality you created. Like the case with Pamela with the knives. I could almost guarantee you that she was seeing knives popping up in her reality, or cut her finger or something with a knife. I bet stuff like that was happening in her simulation. In my experience, the more the coincidences increases in the amount and speed, the more the reality you created becoming part of your simulation program, even if you can't see it at the time. But as soon as you see the second coincidence, you'll know exactly what to do. You can either prepare for it or manipulate realities with it. It's that easy. But can make you crazy at the same time, because after a while, every step you take becomes an alternate reality on the surface that gets darker and darker the deeper you dig. Then you start seeing realities that you don't want to become part of your simulation program, so you start making more videos towards warning people what's coming, because you want to wake as many people as you can. Smart people that teach future generations to break the system from the crack that we leave behind, because deep down you accepted the fact that things have gone too far to turn around. That wasn't me, that was autopilot. Which brings me to Bitcoin. Bitcoin was an easy one. I was already suspicious of Bitcoin, even though I was dabbling in it. So I see it in all realities since it was taken seriously on the dark web. I'm saying all realities because the media keeps changing them and it gets worse and worse every time they do. But in all of them, Bitcoin was still around, but I wasn't sure if it was going to be taken seriously in the financial world. But then more coincidences started showing up, like private and company-owned multi-million-dollar Bitcoin mining farms start popping up a few years ago. Crypto companies on the stock exchange, companies invested in crypto, the dying dollar, everybody at home trying to figure out how to make more money online, people looking for a safe place to protect their money from a collapsing system. There's going to be another boom in content creators because of the vaccine mandate and job shortages. Everything is done online. Payment system, why wouldn't Bitcoin be a part of that? In the future I see, Bitcoin trading would be a way of life for young investors, just like stock trading. So all coincidences to me pointed to Bitcoin becoming legal tender or very close to it. I started talking about it last November, and look at the price from November 2020 to now. That's really why they're trying to get into your bank account. That coincidence to me could only be connected to Bitcoin. Now I want you to think about something. The Biden administration wants to peek in every account that has over $600. They want to track down tax evaders of the wink rich, knowing full well that the rich has plenty of loopholes, but damn that part. Now look at how dumb this sounds. Every account that has less than the amount of rent in most cases is a rich person. They just tell us anything now. They finding ways to steal more of your money. They're about to default on a debt and have to find ways to squeeze more money out of us, which is why they come up with that mileage tax bullshit. Man, I'm telling you, something much bigger than we think is going on, because they throwing way too many dumb shit at us. They making up as they go. You know the cool part about coincidences? It also works backwards. If you examine past realities with connecting coincidences of today, history starts revealing another side to it that wasn't told. I love history, and coincidences makes it that much more fascinating. Everything seems to make more sense when I work reality backwards, to me. Once a reality comes close to becoming the collective simulation program, it's offered to the people because they have to put the thought in your head to help you help them create it. People accept the program most of the time motivated by fear and install it in their simulation under the illusion of artificial safety, which is never enough because in a lot of the cases, those same people try to impose their fear on others, affecting the whole. I constantly see multiple realities that can go either way because of the constant distraction and fear they're putting on the frightened sleepers. It's the sleepers that are creating these fear-based multiple realities, because in many realities, the sleeper always do as they're told. So for a more accurate vision, I have to now factor that in. Sidetrack, I'm telling you, it's frightening watching how easily the sleepers are programmed. They pose a bigger threat than the people that's causing all of this. Take Kyrie Irving, for example. I keep hearing about this. He chose to remain unvaccinated and accept the consequences that comes with it. But now the whole league and vaxxers attacking him to get poked. Straight up bullying. But this is the spell. They always using magic. They're trying to convince the world that Kyrie Irving and all unvaccinated people catches the virus first and then pass it to all vaccinated people. How stupid does that sound? But stupid people are buying it, and they are in large numbers. You know what all those people attacking Kyrie Irving symbolize? Zombies trying to turn a defenseless victim into one of them. Imagine telling a cancer patient you want to help keep them safe and alive with free Kool-Aid so they could keep paying their chemo bill. If you really care, pay for everything. Going back, I know Bitcoin is iffy with a lot of people. I'm not pushing Bitcoin. I'm all about survival. The more smart people that's ahead of the curve, the more our future generation have a chance to turn the things around. We won't see that turn. That's not going to happen. But we can at least set them up with resources. Speaking of which, black people, get life insurance. I'd be damned if I had to come back here again born to a sleeper in a slave system. Because we're all coming back. We all can't possibly learn everything about life in one lifetime. Right now, a storm of collapse is nearing and we're starting to pick up the first breeze. This is what I mean by seeing further than you think. If you see something and act on it, sometimes you avoid unforeseen events. In this case, one of the peak in people's bank accounts is a good example. When I first started seeing the coincidence that all reality has Bitcoin, it was telling me to buy Bitcoin. I'm thinking, okay, investment strategy. I knew it was going to go up, but didn't consider it to be a safety net because I had no idea that the government would want to start looking into people's bank account. Because when they figure a way to tax Bitcoin and line it up with the coming digital system, they will know exactly how much you buy and tax you on it in the form of fees. They might tax you and charge you fees. So if you invested early, not only they can't tax it because they don't know what you have, which is why they push that bullshit honest system on your last tax form, who's gonna fall for that? You know what? I take that back. I forgot who I was talking about. If you have the coins now, you could do pretty good at places that accept crypto without having the government knowing how much you spend. Once the Fed goes digital, I believe they would deal directly with platforms like Coinbase and cut the banks out. In fact, the banks would probably only be for loans since everything would be digital, no need to lend out paper. I haven't been inside of a bank in a while. When did they do away with deposits and withdrawal slips? Sound like I got off a time machine, right? I just recently went to one to make a deposit and all the withdrawal and deposit slips are gone. They're no longer being used. Once they implement the US digital currency, all accounts will be converted to digital. Establishment will be mandated not to accept cash, so all that money you have tucked in your mattress will be deposited into an account to be converted in order to use it on the open market, which will most likely have a deadline to deposit, like they did with the gold. They will immediately know what you have in real time. Everything already digital. Soon you'll be scanning barcodes, getting more and more attached to your phone. You literally won't be able to live without it. They're already testing digital driver's license. Then it will be upgraded to biometrics on the cloud system, which they could easily turn you off if you get out of line. Money you have in the bank will automatically get converted, which will be seamless to most people because they're so used to using their chip cards anyway. This will eventually cut out the cheap labor. This will also cut out my firewood guy. Well, unless they don't mind being tracked. All money exchanges will be done online. People will scan barcodes to exchange currency. It's gonna be tough on the weed man too. Don't get too comfortable with Cash App. They're trying to get into that too, which is some bullshit because most Cash App are used between friends and family members. How are you gonna try to tax people on personal gifts and loans? They trying to get us to pay for the money they stole by any means they can. But what about strip clubs? Are people going to be scanning barcodes to get a dance? Nope, because you'll be using vouchers you have to buy inside the establishment with barcodes. Bitcoin is the main exchange crypto for all crypto. Bitcoin is going nowhere. Unless the earth is hit with an EMP or solar flare, Bitcoin is the future.
Bitches in the future?
Bitcoin is the future.
Yeah, that's it.
If you decide to get in after the government managed to get into your account, it will be too late. If you already have it, especially locked on an outside source like a nano wallet and it grows, they won't know what you have until you convert it to dollars or just tell on yourself. Why is this important? It's important because a lot of countries are open to Bitcoin, which is especially good for you travelers. You could buy things with Bitcoin without converting it to dollars or any other currency, which means no double tax. In most cases, no tax at all. Once the digital dollar goes into place, it won't matter what you have in your account. They will already know. Since I still have your attention, information coming in so fast that I have to make you aware of things that's happening that affects the whole that I don't have time to make video for, because you need to be aware. Just like here in America, China is on the edge of financial collapse with the Evergrande situation, and America is closely following their pattern with its own debt situation. China managed to buy themselves more time at the last minute, but a lot of major companies leaving China, including some of China's own. Why? Hertz ordered a 100,000 car deal from Tesla. Am I the only one that noticed during a chip shortage, Tesla's still able to produce cars while others can't? Sounds like a squeeze on the oil moguls and gasoline car manufacturers. So obviously chip company Nvidia's that's used in Tesla's cars stocks should go up as well. How come they always first in line to get those chips? By the way, we're now one tweet away from Elon causing Bitcoin frenzy. Coincidentally, Bitcoin miners prefer Nvidia chips. Just giving you a tip on what stocks to keep an eye on. They're running out of room for storage containers of those cargo ships. If no drivers coming to pick them up, then what's going to happen? They're most likely going to have to beef up security as if shipping isn't high enough. Something tells me that more than half of those containers are going to wind up in these pop-up distribution centers. I could be wrong. Well, that's all I have for now. It's another video I have to finish up, and then another one. I'd like to thank you all who supports the channel. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters. If you'd like to support the channel, the links are in the description. And as always, thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing your time with me.